How's it going, boys? It's me, your favorite Snake Souls merchant. And do you like justice? Because today we are absolutely not getting a single shred of justice. This is a story that I have not seen a lot on, but it is a big one, honestly. This is what happens in the world, and this is how gone the world honestly is to a degree. So everyone knows about the freezing of Texas, where millions of people were without electricity. Some even died. A lot of people had a very bad time because of it, and a very bad situation in general. Now here's the part that you do not know. 90% of the Texas electricity is provided by ERCO, Electric Reliability Council of Texas. That seems pretty reasonable, right? But this is essentially what has happened. After the grid was fixed, for 2 days almost, 1.5 days, they still demanded the highest possible price for a kilowatt hour. In those almost 2 days, they made 16 billion in revenue. And that is a bug, and that should not have been charged from the people. Oh yeah, I can hear some blood boiling already, especially people who actually live in Texas. Oh yes, that happened because of a error, as they say. The price did not get pushed down when everything became back to normal. And obviously, that 16 billion is not going back to the people. No, 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 no. That will not happen. Instead, what's gonna happen is the CEO of ERCOT, Bill Magnus, is just resigning. Oh, and he's not taking his 800k payout for the firing. Oh no. Obviously, the guy is a scapegoat, by the way. It doesn't matter if he didn't even live in Texas. This is just pretty much the classic point the world is on here. Well, some companies screwed over 25 million people, I think the number was, or something like that, and charged them the most. By the way, it is literally the cap price that they can charge for a kilowatt hour. That was literally the highest amount they could charge for a kilowatt hour. And they capped it for an extra 1.5 days after it all ended and the prices should have been going down. People lost savings. There were some people who pretty much lost all their savings. Because the average price for electricity is nowhere near the highest price that they were charging for 1.5 days. And in that time, they made 16 billion. And that money, again, will not be returned back to the people. A mistake is a mistake. What's gonna happen? What's already happening? Someone's just taking the blame. The CEO of ERCOT is just getting fired, and that's pretty much it. Honestly, does anything change? No. He's gonna get fired. He probably has friends. He's gonna become the CEO or someone else extremely highly paid that doesn't have to do anything in another company. Or, what sometimes happens, if you do not know in cases like this, they fired the CEO. After a year, he's literally back right there at it and doing nothing. The guy does not even live in Texas. How can you be responsible for something as crucial as electricity and not even live in the state? Obviously, you're not gonna care too much about what happens to it as long as you get paid, and you don't even live in the state that you are providing electricity for. If that is not absurd, then nothing honestly is. So, someone just has to take the blame, essentially, for it. And, well, while he does take the blame, I will actually say that it's not exactly fair that he takes the blame. A lot of people are blaming going green for the electricity problem of Texas, but the reality, in my opinion, is a little bit different. You see, I don't live in Texas, I'm not even from the USA, but even I understand the premises of Texas, that it is a giant monument to the arrogance of man in God's face, because no one should build a goddamn city or create a state in a place so damn hot. Oh yes, so essentially this is what happens. No one expects anything like that, because there's no reason to expect. Suddenly it happens, And the infrastructure of the city, obviously, the infrastructure of the state is not capable of handling it. Because no one expects a freeze like that to happen in a place like Texas. And honestly, that is completely normal. Yes, it is a devastating thing if it happens, but the chances of it happening, close to zero. Well, better than close to zero, honestly. But yeah, no one in Africa is creating infrastructure based on the idea that suddenly a flash freeze is gonna happen. They don't do it because no one expects that, and that's completely normal. In this case, if Texas actually prepared for a flash freeze or extremely cold weather for multiple days or whatnot, then people would be mad again about the fact that, well, you know, their money, their taxpayer money is being spent on something. That will not happen. So essentially, when something like this happens, it's a loss-loss situation because the people in charge of this, well, even if they try to do their job properly, which we're not going to get exactly into here because no one knows if they try to do their job properly or not. Well, if they spend their money on something like protection from the from cold weather so the grid works properly, someone's going to give them flack for, you know, wasting money essentially. When something like this happens, then there's blood on their hands for the people that got actually injured or worse. If you look at the Ergo Twitter account, which turns out is obviously a thing at the year 2021, a lot of people are mad. Not a whole lot of people, but their tweets are getting pretty ratioed with a lot of bad people. Most likely it's not a complete disaster for them because, well, no one most likely knows that they even have a Twitter. But that's how it happened. That is it. Obviously, the most devastating part is the fact that they, because of an calculated computer error, which is obviously most likely not true, they just knew that they can get away with it. Well, they made 16 billion off of the suffering of people. Some people were left without savings, some people now are in debt, some people even worse most likely. Some people did not feel it too much, but yeah, they're not giving that money back. Let that sink into you for a minute. That a company can literally rob a whole goddamn state of money. 90% of people are dependent on exactly that company for electricity. A company can do something like that, not even give the money back, and they will not get punished for it. Oh no, only some random CEO who most likely was not even competent enough for the job position in the first place just gets fired and replaced with another pawn who is good friends with someone and just is gonna get paid a lot of money in the future and will not do anything or change anything. That's how the world works. And, well, it's sad. Imagine what other companies will start to do. America is already in a pretty bad position with their pharmaceutical prices and whatnot. Where in Europe something costs like 10 cents, in America it's gonna cost you 200s or multiple hundreds of dollars. Oh yes. And now electricity companies are shafting people, literally scamming them out of their money and not giving it back. Admittedly, we will see. Maybe it's gonna get reversed, but currently, as much as I can find information on this subject, they are not giving that money back. All the money that they got from an unfair price, keep in mind their price model again is, if the demand is high, the prices are gonna be high. If the demand is low, the prices are gonna be low. And again, you can find this neat little graph, by the way, about their prices per kilowatt hour. I can't actually find it currently, but there was this neat little one graph that actually showed the cap, how much they can actually charge, and the average what it was. Even at the cold days of the initial start of the situation, they did not charge the cap. And now they just did when it was all over for 1.5 days because money was could be made. The absolute state of insanity, boys. Absolute state of insanity. Well, anyway, this is Kuzar Sensen. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the channel, check out Discord, check out the Patreon, check out everything. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.